On New Year's Day, I uploaded a video on switches that I had added onto my layout and block signals that I set up. That worked out pretty well, and I started getting the urge to not only add signals, but add block track relays that would stop the train at the station. You just saw it, the train pull in, the light turned red. Now the light turns green, the train starts up. As the other one comes around, it will stop at the station, and again, green light. The light will turn red, and now that train comes out, and as it hits the reed switch, it flips them over again. I did the same thing on my passenger trains. I have two passenger trains. That's a El Capitan diesel that's about to stop in the station. It'll pause there for a few seconds, and then it'll start back up. Using the relays, I was not only able to get the trains to stop and start, but I was able to set up signals. This is a signal that I made from a non-working overpass signal. I kit bashed it and wired some LEDs in and wired them up to the relays. The relays are attached to reed switches in the track. In an earlier video, I showed the reed switches and what I tried to do with them. This application worked well. This is the place where I found them and how much they cost. They were very inexpensive. By putting magnets on the bottom of the car at the proper place, as the car goes over the reed switch, it flips the reed switch open momentarily. That cuts off the relay, and then the relay resets. And here you see the unwired relay. They have 8 posts on them. I was very confused by this, but I'm fortunate. I have a very good friend who's an electrician, and he was really patient with me and was able to walk me through this. When the relays are first set, the red lights just came on each of these 3 relays, and that shows that the timer is working, and in this case the trains would be stopped. As the second light comes on, that means the timer is clicked and restored power back to the tracks. It's a little bit confusing, the wiring on it and all. It's a little too much to explain in this video, but if a few people are interested and you write to me on my YouTube channel, I'd be more than happy to make a second video. Now you just saw a train pull out of the station. Here we have the El Capitan Santa Fe diesel coming in. And as the next to the last car hits the reed switch, it shuts the power down. You see above the train and to the little bit to the right a red light. That's about to turn green. As it does, the lights in the train come on, power is restored to the track, the train starts up. The El Capitan, I haven't really had a chance to reset the CV values. I'd like to set it to close to a stop, but right now it stops pretty suddenly. The Santa Fe, as you'll notice here, will coast to a stop, and that looks a little more natural. Now if you watch that red light above it and slightly to the right, when that turns green, the lights will come on and the train will slowly pull out of the station and gather speed as it goes. So that's a lot more natural. The wiring on this was another challenge. I used breadboards. Breadboards are little circuits that you just plug wires in. The blue are the grounds, and the red are the hot. And this is a diagram of the relay on the right, showing all the terminals and how everything is connected on the left. Now, this again is back to the subway trains. Now, you saw the light just turn from red to green. As the next train pulls in the station, it's going to come to a stop. And when the light turns from green to red, it'll start back up. And when the car with the magnets runs over the reed switch, it'll turn it back to red. and that will kill the power in the track to stop the next train coming in. It works the same way on the passenger line. On this one, the reed switch is right around that curve by the station, and again, the next to the last car hits the reed switch, cuts power. This is an overpass that I made, that I put LEDs in. It started out originally as a non-working overpass. I'll show you that in a second. And I kit bashed it and wired it up and connected it to the relays. There are two connections on the relays for the lights. And here's what it looked like before I did any work on it. It just had these little red and green plastic dots, and by coloring them up and wiring them in, it works really well. This is another overpass that I did from scratch. So anyway, another thing is, it always bothered me that these trains were empty, and New York City subway trains are never empty. So I opened the cars up and put a bunch of people inside each car. So that pretty much covers it. One other thing, while this really does look nice, I didn't do it for it to look nice. I did it for a practical reason. When everything is running, there are the two subway cars, there are the two passenger lines, the Acela Express and the Santa Fe El Capitan, and then there are either 4 or 5 freight lines running. And this is not a club project. I'm the sole operator here, and it was really getting, trying to operate this without crashes every 5 seconds was taking a lot of the fun out of it. So by doing this, it makes it a lot easier now because I only have to give my attention to the freight trains that are running around the main part of the board. So here, one by one, I'm starting them all up and getting them running. And in a second, you're going to see 4 freight trains, 2 elevator trains, and 2 passenger lines be run by 1 person. And it's just all of a sudden a lot more fun doing this. Once again, it's a little bit confusing. The wiring on the relays, especially on the DCC, because the lights, I've got the lights and the relays on DC power, and I had to use a second relay, which Larry, my electrician friend Larry, figured that one out and told me how to do it. So if anyone's interested in doing this, drop me a line, and I'll be more than happy to make another video showing the wiring. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed looking at this, and I hope you've learned something from it. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye now.